welcome to my channel and welcome to this week's WiPnChat. I'm recording this like with, you know, hours to go. Yeah, it's all a little bit mental in my head at the moment. Grab your cuppa, bucket of tea, or whatever you're drinking. Grab your work, whatever the heck you're working on, because I did consider doing knitting. So yeah, whatever. Anything goes. Oh, and Sophie is running around outside like a lunatic. My husband lost his marbles quite a while ago. What?
Can't find my filament width sensor.
Okay, printing stuff. And my computer is clicking like it's a schizophrenic. It's driving me bonkers. It's like a ghost. And it keeps on going click, 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 click. And it's like, ah. Yeah, it's really bad. It's really annoying too. Anyway. So yes, I've got lots of distractions happening. I am home a little while after work. It is the 2nd of March today, which meant that yesterday and today have been a little bit manic is probably not the correct term, but I did put a GIF on Aaron's page. He is the Autumn Lane Stitchery designer. Designer, Autumn Lane Stitchery. He is the designer on Autumn Lane Stitchery. And we get the release every month for Dark Queen of the Seas. And the GIF that I put up on the page, tagging him, was the one that's going around of the husky dog pounding on the owner in the bed, like the front feet kind of bounce, yeah. And it was like, Aaron. It was just like getting so impatient. It's not like I didn't actually have stuff to do. The Clouds Factory drop happened as well, and the Clouds Factory, if you haven't got on board with the Clouds Factory, there is no Planet B. This month is the Puffin and I can't remember. Oh, the Pandolin, I think it's called. I think it's a Pandolin is the name. And it's the armoured kind of anteater thing. They're really kind of cool. They've kind of got these hard shells around them. Pandolin or pangolin? Maybe it's a pangolin. I haven't seen many of them, if I've seen any of them. I'm not sure how good Dublin Zoo was back in the Stone Age when I was a kid. So, I may or may not have ever seen one of these. So yeah, that dropped yesterday. So I sorted my floss for the next month, for March. Haven't done a stitch count. Now, so what I'm going to do, I did do a stitch count for the Dark Queen of the Sea because it's such a small bit. It's basically 2 corners up above her. She's got antlers, coral, and she's got a crown. And that's pretty much it. So it's 1048 stitches. I was a bit distracted when I got into work this morning and did a stitch count. So yes, I will get her done quickly. If I get this done, I will actually then be able to work on her tonight, get her finished, which, you know, I know it seems like a bit of a gallop, but that's okay. I prefer being up to date, because what that does is then frees up the rest of my month, because I've got to do my botanicals for last Friday, which I haven't done. That's black work. It only takes an hour and a bit. I have Harry Potter that is a year old and I haven't done yet. So it frees up the rest of the month for me to be able to do those projects. And I'd like to drop some stitches into my Heaven and Earth design and have that as a working whip It is in a pack, ready to go, and yeah, there's that. So I do my knitting, as I've told you before, driving on our road trips, and I have taken to doing a couple of rows going in and out of work as well. So because it's only 90 stitches, I can actually get, if everything is going well, I can actually get 4 rows, sorry, not 4 rows, 2 rows in one direction. So 2 rows into work, 2 rows out of work, or maybe 1 because I'm just kind of going, oh, sit down. He found his thing. Yeah. So yeah, the stitching is, the knitting is coming along really well. I think I showed you last week how my knitting was going, and I'm now into the red. I have one more section, I think, of red, and then I introduce the next color, and I think the next color might be yellow. Could be wrong. At the moment I'm doing fox. I think it's fox. Yeah, it's I think as well part 3. I think part 3 gets a bit scary. I think it gets into either lacework, help, or it gets into the bobble bit. I did try and find out where the bobble bit was, because there was a little instruction that you have to do a funky stitch, and it was like, okay, I need to try and get my head around this. So all that to look forward to. So this video though is probably going to be a little bit scrappy. So not scrappy as such, but I've got lots of things that I recorded and brought you along on, and yeah, so you're going to come geocaching with me. We have some video at a town called Richmond, which is a historic village from back in the 1800s. Richmond Village is now a tourist mecca. It's got lots of little cafes, it's got lots of art galleries, it's got lots of craft shops like woodcraft and Tasmanian locally made produce of, gosh, wood, leather, glass, and then there's the art. There is a bakery there that if you get there before 11 o'clock, you can actually get fresh jam donuts. They're to die for. It was too late when we were there. And there is a lolly shop that is famous. It was actually half the size of what it is now. They took over the old saddlery shop or something. So they've extended the ice creamery down, right down, and then there's COVID restrictions saying 40 people only in. There's no policing of that though. So yeah, we went out to Richmond. We fed the ducks with some very, very stale bread that was not fit for any consumption. And I really struggled, I think, to get my head into the game with that walk. Because we had had a blow up the day before. I again opened my mouth when I shouldn't have done. I didn't think I was opening my mouth, but we didn't listen to each other, and yeah, I put my feet both firmly in my mouth.
I can't get into this, Sophie.
So yeah, there was a bit of hurt feelings and all of that kind of thing. So Saturday I was really not with it at all. We weren't chatting in the car or anything. I was knitting, and the drive was only 20 minutes away or something. But when I came home, because my head still was not in the game with me, and I was struggling actually quite hard mentally to firstly get around to apologising to Marcus, and then secondly to actually process my own frustration, disappointment, whatever, and I'm still struggling with processing stuff, but I have actually enrolled in that Nacho Kids Academy, and I'm hoping it's going to help give me a little bit of perspective in parenting, not parenting, basically, and just kind of going, I'm not the parent, I don't have to take this on, kind of thing. So yeah, doing that.
More bread, more bread.
Yeah, so I went geocaching on Saturday afternoon. I took Sophie with me, and we went to where did we go? No, Saturday I was at, no. Saturday, where did we went to locally one. Oh yeah, so there was a local one up at the park. You could only access it through this park. And I went out with her and didn't really plan it brilliantly. The bag I had, unfortunately, hasn't been kitted very well. So it didn't have a pen. Probably didn't even have a piece of paper either. But anyway, it didn't have a pen in it. And because of the size of the geocache, they often don't carry pens because they're tiny. Sophie, please stop! No! Yes, it's a comb. Oh dear. So anyway, I went to the park and parked at where I thought was the setting off point, and realised then that I hadn't got a pen, so I'm fossicking around in the bag, fossicking around in the car, not a pen to be found. Thought, oh, maybe I've got a pen on my car keys. Nope, didn't put a pen on my car keys. I think I put a nano pen. A nano pen is like the size of a pen lid.
Good job,
like
Sophie.
a big pen lid. And it's an everyday carry kind of thing, if you're familiar with that term. Didn't have one of those on my car keys either.
Sorry.
Getting very frustrated with myself, so I thought I'll take advantage of people
See
being
the babies?
slobs,
Oh, what are you doing
and
with Flopsy?
not taking their
they're all
rubbish
fluffy.
home with them
Yeah.
after having barbecues at any of the numerous shelters that are in this little bit of the park. Well, the first shelter I walked around, not a pen to be found. People have birthday
there's a
parties
swan,
and things at the
Sophie.
shelters, and there's electric
Swans.
barbecues,
Yeah,
and it's
look.
brilliant facilities.
Swans.
Anyway,
Black
nothing.
swans.
Walked out to the
Australian
amphitheatre, which is there's a big stage area where there was, I don't know, 3 teenagers playing or something on scooters or.
Look, Sophie.
But across from the stage is this hillside, and up the hillsides they've actually levelled out these little platforms, and you've got this kind of amphitheatre kind of effect, which is all kinds of cool. I don't know if they do concerts there very often or what the hell they do. They should use it way more than they do. Let's just put it that way. And if it was Sydney, oh my god, you know, busy every weekend, you know, we just, I don't know, a band just jamming, for heaven's sake, you know. Anyway, so looked up on the bank, walked up one side of it, just in case somebody might have dropped a pen out of their handbag. No. Oh dear. Made it up
see that? It
to
came out-
another
took it out of
shelter
my hand.
and looked in and thought,
Sophie, look.
this is so clean as well. Damn these cleaners, you know, the council workers who come around and make sure everything's tiny. I was looking for rubbish. I was looking for a pen.
Sophie, are you watching?
Yeah. Well, there on the ground was a big pen, a blue pen, and it was like gold. Seriously, I've never been so happy to find rubbish in my life. So,
Take it
pen
out
in
of my
hand. I'm like 5 minutes from home, and I'm spending all this time looking around for some random pen. Found the pen, and then looked at the map and
Don't
found.
be careful with Flopsy.
Okay, where do we go? Dang it, we're not in the right spot. Okay, Sophie's got to get back in the car. In the meantime, she's been running around, you know, and chasing up and down the hill with me and all of that kind of thing. So, I have to throw her back in the car. She's not impressed. She's going, I don't want to go home, I don't want to go home. I said, no, we just have to move up the hill to...
Not so babies,
whatever.
they're juniors.
So, we've drive into
Juniors,
this
like teenagers.
loopy bit of a field kind of thing that's off to the corner of this park where there's a whole load of chopped down wood. It's right next to the gun range, and I get out the phone, which is on like 10%, 20%.
Oh,
I
you
think,
took my last piece, Sophie.
we were out all day, and for some reason I don't know, we were recording or I was doing something with the phone. Anyway, it didn't have brilliant battery life on it either. So I'm trying to conserve battery life. I'm trying to record for you guys as well.
Or are you just going to use
And have to try and narrow down where we're going to access this path. We'll eventually figure it out. It's at the next bit. So I'm driving around and it's like, oh, can't drive over that. So make it to where we can actually park and then walk from. So we walk down and it's literally 100 meters down the hill. There's a little river off to the side that you can hear when you get there eventually.
You did?
But can't see until Sophie decides that she's going to walk across to the bank and she can see the mossy river or stream below. There's a wallaby up in the woods, which of course bounces as soon as I pass it and then stops dead still. I try and get it on camera. I don't know if it's worked. And I did try and point it out to you though on camera. But again, it didn't move when I had the camera on, as you know, they don't. They just sit there because they're, you know, semi-smart. They either flight or freeze, or flight or freeze these things, and if they run, then of course they're going to get seen. So anyway, this thing sat there stock still, just waving its ears around, and we went down, and Sophie goes and dives through the gate.
The ducks will come up and eat these.
No issue. And she's going, "No, Mummy, you come through." I was like, I don't even know if we need to go out.
It's too crummy.
Anyway, we found the cache, which was tiny. It was in a, I don't know if you're familiar with a bison. A bison is a, well, it's the name that I've learned is the container. It's basically like a pill container, waterproof container. It's made out of aluminium. It's a tube. It's about 2 inches long. Hangs on your key rings or something. We have pills on the car keys. As spare pills for Marcus, and I have numerous people hide caches in them because you can stick duct tape, camouflage duct tape, and you can paint them and all that kind of thing, and they have a little O-ring that keeps them waterproof to keep the log dry and everything. So yeah, there was this bison hanging on the fence. We ended up not having to cross the fence as it turned out.
Sex on the river.
And then Sophie is ripping a tree apart while I was getting the cache and filming and showing you the bison on film or on camera. And yeah, so you got to come geocaching there. And then Sophie gets back to the car after a little bit of a kind of, I'm going to squat down and be a rock kind of behaviour, because she's tired but she wasn't falling asleep, and she goes, I don't want to go home, I don't want to go home. I said, well, okay, we can go find another cache. So I knew there was another one just past the house, and it used to be an old caravan
Which
park.
ones are babies?
Now, it's not used as a caravan park anymore.
No, they're not babies, that's the big bird.
Because it's actually quite pretty down there.
But
it's all vacant. There's
just lots of different sizes.
Little bitumen, asphalt, concrete.
As big as you.
As
big as you. And
lane
standing in the
kind of things
water,
for the caravans to kind of bed down on, and then there's a little grassy patch, you know, where you'd have as your front porch if you were staying in a caravan. And there's all these bays. There's an old
Okay, so this is the oldest bridge in Australia. This is built in 1803. Is that 2? Oh, shows how good my new glasses are. It's built of convict stone, sandstone, and there is a jail nearby that was a satellite jail for the convict settlement down in Port Arthur. The size of that swan's feet. Oops, down. I don't know if you can see it through the water. I've got sunglasses that show me. Those feet are huge. No, they're girls. Yeah, these are girls. These are girl mallards. Or something else.
Fire hose box. Very, very odd seeing some of these things. But it's just, you know, sitting there. The other one is sitting broken open. While I was down there, there was one other person that came down. I, again, don't know why you'd come out onto this thing. But the rabbits were rife. It is a rabbit's paradise now for at least a month because they, as I've said on the camera, if it all comes out, because I'm not sure about wind, the council put out a warning saying that they're releasing calcivirus into the area to keep down the rabbit population. So calcivirus is going to decimate the crop of bunnies. And they were just suggesting that people vaccinate their domestics if they have them. I don't know how it's spread. I'm assuming through mosquito, like most rabbit kind of mosquito or fleas or something.
No waterfall. Okay.
I'm not sure.
Some preening going on. You can see the white tips on the black swan's wings. So yeah, when they tuck them up, they're all black, but when they fly, they've got white on the edge. Having a bit of a scratch. And this is how close they are. Look, there's Sophie in relation to these, and they've been taking food out of my hand. You ready to go? No, I don't know that the ducks will eat the apple.
Sure if they had calcivirus or mixie down near where I used to live, but I caught one rabbit who was out during the day and its eyes were all goopy and gross, and I'm not sure which is which. Whether calcivirus looks just as disgusting. Yeah, but tons and tons of rabbits. So Sophie was chasing the rabbits like you chase seagulls at the beach. She was having an absolute ball and she didn't want to leave. So we ended up getting the cache, which was put down by a fairly new, I think a new family of geocachers, because it wasn't waterproof. It's in a little pretty crappy decor tub which aren't waterproof. Wasn't in a little bag inside, and I do wonder if it's going to survive through the season. But time will tell. It was certainly there. It was very, very obvious because of how they'd hidden it as well, which I don't know, it kind of takes some of the fun out of it to a certain extent, but on another respect it's like, well, it doesn't need to be super hidden because nobody's down here really, and nobody's necessarily going to be looking for this kind of object that's hiding it. You know, they're not going to be poking around like kids would poke around, you know, if they were camping there, for instance. So anyway, did that one, and then just showing you an example of the convict stone. You see all the little hatch markings? They're all synonymous, I suppose, with how convict stone looks. This is all so weathered and worn. I'm not sure how much of it will show. Sorry, I'm just going to swap sides with Sophie so that I can give you the angle. Sorry. She's getting me to hold Flopsy's hand, not hers.
But you can see all those little hatches. But yeah, 1823 this bridge was built. Don't know what the old roads would have looked like, because Hobart is over and down the Derwent. So I'm not quite sure why this was a particularly good place for a settlement. Maybe just because of that gorgeous river, and maybe it reminded them a little bit of England. More rolling hills. If you can see the hill over there, this is all wine country now. It's all narrow, not narrow, sorry, rolling hillside, grassland. There's the old kind of schoolhouse kind of thing, and there's one of the old churches over there. Okay, swap side, Sophie. Good girl. But yeah, this is the old bridge. Hasn't been out of action for any length of time. Has always been in use, standing the test of time as to how solid it is. Most of Richmond is now a historic town. It's the little weatherboard kind of commandant's houses, or it's stone. There's a stone actually stood the test of time. Sophie, slow down, please. I haven't actually done a convict tour or anything here. Sophie, no, we're going up. This is the old style fencing. I love this style of fencing. No idea how it fits together. There's a poster sign here. Hang on, Sophie. I'm going to read this. Oldest bridge still in use, built by convict labour, 1823. The erection of the bridge facilitated travel to the east coast and the Tasman Peninsula, which is where the prison was, down at Port Arthur. There's an evangelist church, there's a cemetery, pensioner allotments and mill house in the area. Some beautiful orchids, irises even. Hang on. Alright. Well, here's something a little bit different for you. I have parked the car at the top of this hill. This is a something park, no, I can't remember the name, something park fire trail. Anyway, access to this trail, it gets locked at night, but I guess you could come down off the mountain and go into the park. The problem would be that you couldn't get out of the park because they lock it up, even for foot traffic, for whatever reason. Anyway, we are going geocaching, and I'm going to see if I can find it without having the app open so I can record for you. I'm not necessarily going to tell you where it is. I might find it with my eyes if I'm good enough, and yeah, we go from there. It's only a little one, so what I'll do is I'll probably film to the location. I'll either edit the bit out that I need to save showing the actual place, and then I'll show you what it is and that kind of thing. Yes, I do hear water. There is a rivulet near, and there are some floodwater bits, so you can see this floody kind of ravine. I have the kid. She's been running up until now. It's quite warm. We've got she oak, which is kind of like a droopy, weird kind of tree. Oh, wallaby. It just moved, and when they stop moving you can't see them. There it is. So, you're looking at, let's see if I can do this. Okay, you just see it there. probably going to stay still so you won't see it move. There you go. Skippy in the bush. I have seen rabbit droppings, although that'll probably cease to exist soon because they're putting calcivirus into the suburb so it'll spread, and pet rabbits need to be vaccinated. Whoa, 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 stop, stop, stop. Yes, but you're too close to the edge. It's a river. Wow, it's so cool. So cool in here. In the shade and the water, the temperature just dropped. So yeah, they're putting calcivirus into the community, and they're saying that domestic bunnies need to be vaccinated like every 2 weeks for the damn thing. It's like, whoa. Yeah. I don't know how it's spread. I'm assuming mosquito like everything else. Rightio. I'm going to stop the tape. I think I'm at ground zero and check. Alright. So this is I think it's a micro or nano. Anyway, this is called a buffalo tube, for those who are in the know. And this is the log. So this was planted in 2016, and all the people who have caught it, found it, are in here. And there's also a web log. So what I'm trying to do is find an empty space. I scavenged. Boy, did I scavenge. And today is the 27 to 21. It has probably been a year since I've geocached. I think I've got the right name down. I think I've had to change it since getting married and unmarried and singled and married and yeah, anyway. You get the idea. So yeah, you roll it back up again, you pop it back in exactly as you found it, and I will go and hide it and then come back to you. Alright, so it's back in its hidey hole. I'll show you in just a second. I'm not going to give you the code, other than say roughly what park, just in case, because, you know, spoilers for people who might do geocaching. I mean, all the information seriously is within the site, so technically I'm not really giving anything away. Oops, sorry, my GPS is doing a thing, cause yeah, sorry, not my GPS, my gimbal, sorry. So anyway, the kid is up there trying to destroy a tree. Let's go, Sophie. Let's go. But anyway, that's geocaching in its potentially most boring way possible. There is actually a nice, hang on, I just want to show the graffiti. There is actually some nice graffiti on this bridge, or wall, or whatever the heck, aqueduct, drain, ditch. So there's that on the wall, which is kind of cool. Sounds pretty, but I'm not going to go back through the gate. Come on, Sophie. Sophie was a gun. She jumped through the gate really quickly. Sorry, gimbal, doing a funky chicken. Oh, there we go. I think, no, still doing a funky chicken. So, yeah, okay. It's not liking the angle of the dangle, or whatever phrase you want to use. Oops. Oh, man. Sophie! Oh, she was saying there was balloons. No, too close. Not too close. Sophie, back, please. Yes. What? Yeah. She was saying there was balloons on the wires. They're the bird plane balls that you get on power lines, because there's big power lines up above us that track through these suburbs. I think on a good day you can hear them hum. They're that kind of high voltage. Anyway, I'm not seeing or hearing any more skippies. But that was literally like 100 meters from the car park. You could obviously have taken a much longer walk and done that. See there, I assume high voltage lines are high voltage lines wherever you go. Yeah, but there's those. Can you see those balls? Yeah, those balls. Just up. Birdies on planes. Come on, kid. So yeah, I ran out to do a cache because my mental health is shite today. Oh goodness, gimbal. Hello. Right. Yes. Well, my mental health is pretty ordinary. We went for a walk this morning. We went down to a town called Richmond, and we got some lollies in the shop, and it was really like I just could not give a rat's arse. Probably didn't help that the bakery didn't have any jam donuts because we were there like, I don't know, an hour or two too late. They sell out first thing in the morning and they're gorgeous. So the kid has been devouring the lollies, although she did actually make a bowl up for her dad, which was nice. And he's devoured his lollies, and as I said, I couldn't really... You're right? I think she's getting tired. Oh, and the drama. So I got in the car thinking, yeah, I've got a pen in the car. Nope, no pen in the car. No pen in the nappy change bag. No pen in the bag that I grabbed as a day pack. No pen anywhere to be found. So I go to this park which has lunch kind of barbecue areas all over the place. Oh, come on. Look, she's doing her stone. I'll hold your hand. So yeah, the place has lots of barbecue areas. People have birthday parties and all that kind of jazz. So I looked in one barbecue area. Is there any pens? No, couldn't find a pen. I think it's kind of cute how she does this. Hold my hand. Good girl. So, nothing. Walk up one side of an amphitheatre that's here, which is just a grass hillside with a great big concert stage thingy-majiggy, and there's nothing on the grass. Walk up to the next shelter that's nearby and look around, don't see anything, and suddenly, oh my god, there's a pen. Oh dear. So now I've got to go home and stock all my bags with a pen, just in case it gets my fancy that I want to go geocaching, because you need a pen. You saw the size of that thing. It's the size of a key fob. They're really handy if you take pills, but I didn't have a nano pen. I thought I had got a nano pen on my keyring, but I don't. It must be on, I don't know, other keys in my other bag. Really frustrating. Whoa, look at the size of that. Now, am I going to be able to get that on camera? Don't touch. There it is. It's about an inch. No! No, they'll jump. They're called inchmen or jack jumpers, and yes, it's a big ass ant. But yeah, I think they bite. So no bites on the kids. And you can grow an intolerance on them. And like you get bitten once and you don't die, and then you get bitten twice and you have a nasty reaction. So I've got some gum trees that are rather pretty. So I'm going to take some close-up pictures of blossoms because I've got white and I've got orange. And getting my head out of my ass and into my lens, albeit a phone, tends to help my mental health a little bit. Up you get. Just don't go into the water. So that's the shelter over there that I walked up to, and there was a pen lying on the ground. So very thankful that there was a pen. so I can go and do that cache and not have to go back home after it and everything. And then when I started navigating to it, I realised that I wasn't on the right place because I had parked down that hill, because that's where the amphitheatre is. You can just see the top of the stage just here. And yeah, so I'd walked up to there and I could have just kept going a little way. So yeah, I'm going to go take some pictures of some gum leaves. And then the orange one over there is actually getting wet. So I'll try and avoid the spray. Look, she's just sitting down. Isn't she cute? Alright, talk to you soon. Alright, well, the kid wanted to come out again. Well, not again, but she didn't want to go home. So we're here, and I might, look, get a bunch of bunnies. Yeah, so she can chase rabbits instead of seagulls. Sophie, don't get too close. But there's rabbit scrapes and everything here. They're a pest. In Australia, I guess they were brought for food originally, because, you know, it's not the kind of thing that you get on a ship. But this is a little headland that used to be a caravan park, which, you know, it's reasonable. But you're right on the water. There's actually a great big gallery, museum of new art or something, as he calls it, Mona, by gambler David Walsh. There's bunnies down there. I know, bunnies are bunnies and brown is brown, and, you know, they're worldwide. But anyway, they're cute. And look, this is all rabbit droppings. Ever since reading Watership Down, I've called it Silflay. Like the, what's his name? Is it Dan Adams? As he does in the book. Calling it Silflay when they come out in the evening and they eat their previous partially digested scat. There are particular kinds of droppings that they eat. There's another bunny there. It's just put its ears down because they were sticking up. But they're everywhere. Like, everywhere. Like this one dashing that away. Sophie! And I think the cache is somewhere in those trees. So I'm just wandering until I see an obvious spot. Not seeing. Oh, okay. Is it really that bad? No, it's gosh, Jesus, thorns here. But all of this was once upon a time a campsite. So, while I'm here, I'll show you some. Oh, I think we're still zoomed in. Yeah. Look at that tree! How amazing is that? This is the bark that just peels off quite disrespectfully. Anyway, let me hop you on the ground where it's not going to tip over. See if I can get some control back, and then I will get the cache. Apparently this is their first cache hiding. Sometimes they do kind of stand out, so it's camouflaged by stuff, let's just say. It doesn't need to be a fancy log, it just needs to be a piece of paper, to be honest. Hi Sophie! Oh dear. You right?
Yes.
Hang on, I'm just getting my pen. Oops. So that's signed, sealed. Actually, when I struggled with geocaching, talking. When I struggled the most with geocaching, it's a terrible container. It's going to get wet. Leave it, please. Leave it. Go. We're gonna walk. Come on, let's go find some bunnies. Sorry. When I oh, what was I saying? No, it's gone from me now. I got disturbed. Which is not hard. Lots and lots of bunnies. They're just lying on the dirt. Like if you had a 2.2 gun. I don't know if there's any residences around. You'd probably get away with no, you'd need a gun license. You need gun licenses here in Tasmania, and this is not a place where you could shoot. Bit of a shame that they closed this place down. There's not really got anything here, but as a halting site for caravans, yeah, bit of a shame it's not maintained. But anyway, there is a tennis club which seems to have a bit of activity around it tonight. There's cars all over the place. There is another geocache. If I get my camera, yep, okay, so just over there, there is I think it's there is a really cool cache. It has been made out of a nut that they've drilled through and stuck it on the tree so it looks like a nut on the tree, you know, as nuts grow. It was a bit of a tricky find, and that was scrambling. Oh yeah, I was going to say, when I actually had problems with geocaching, when I couldn't find something, I'd end up calling up my young boy and bringing him. Now I've been geocaching since I think 2012, but it may have been before then. It's basically treasure hunting with a phone. You use your GPS in your phone. It kills the battery so fast, but you use your GPS in your phone to find what's called ground zero, and geocachers do what's called a bee dance. I'm hoping that wind is not buffeting too badly. They do what's called a bee dance when you get to ground zero. Depending on how good or how bad the hint is, or if you even use the hint that may or may not be there. The clouds are gorgeous, high-speed cumulocirrus, I think, if you can make them out. They look like sandy beach, and she's doing the I'm a stone craziness again. So yeah, the geocaching is treasure hunting with the phone. You can use Android, you can use iPhone, you can actually still use an old-fashioned GPS, and you can upload your files onto your GPS and go old school, or you can actually go with paper and pen and a compass should you so wish. I have gone geocaching and my phone has died, and I've still been able to find ground zero, because you get a certain knack of going, there's a geocache there, or what's worse is you go to some place and you go, this would make a brilliant place for a geocache. Basically what it is a local puts a box of whatever size. I should take you up one. It's actually like a 40-litre Sistema kind of tub full of books, and it's for a book swap. It's up in the middle of the woods that are kind of, you know, over the hills kind of thing. But that one up there was just a tiny sorry, trying to find the word. What? Bunnies? No. Okay, we'll go down the bottom path for the bunnies. So that was just a sauce container that you would find. I think we've got decor containers. They're not waterproof, that's the only problem. So when it rains, and I think that's a relatively new cache, when it rains that thing is going to leak probably. It's dry, it's off the ground, but it might leak through the top. So soggy logs are a thing. There's a couple of bunnies. There's bunnies. There's bunnies. Just here. Okay. Always handy, certainly in the pubs over here where they do what's called Keno, Keno. There's a black swan down there too. Where they do Keno, which is like the gambling, you pick 5 or 6 numbers kind of thing, like a lottery thing in the pub. But anyway, my point being, they have pencils for the Keno, which are like 4 inches long. They are perfect to stash in your bag. You can actually write in pencil on wet paper, or if it's raining, you can write with pencil whereas pen, you cannot write on wet paper unless it's a special kind of pen. You see that little Banksia nut down there? That's the kind of nut that was hollowed out and a log was stuck into that and it was stuck onto the tree. It was brilliant. There are some really, really clever people in the world who will disguise the log, the cache itself, so that you're looking at the damn thing and you're going, I can't see it, I am so blind. And then you have to call in the cavalry, which are your friends who have been caching or not. Yeah, but basically I wouldn't have come here except for the fact that somebody who had been here came here before. There's a human who must have walked the beach because there's a car further down. So yeah, I would have had absolutely zero reason for coming here, except that there was a cache in this location. And it's a gorgeous little headland. It's quiet. There's no people around because it's no longer a caravan site. There's bunnies galore. Sophie's having a ball. There's sparrows having a field day on the old, I was going to say site, but it's actually those little grass bits are the front door, whereas you would park your caravan on the asphalt road. There's a bunny. Okay, come on, back to the car. So, yeah, it's local knowledge, and you have to be a local to maintain a cache. If something goes wrong, somebody gets stuck and they can't find it, you need to be able to go there and check that it's still there, or you need to have a local who can go and check that it's still there, that it's all in working order, that if it runs out of paper, you replenish it. There's all kinds of etiquette around doing it. If you're a environmentally conscious person, okay, you're hiding a piece of plastic usually in the woods, but you can often do what's called CITO, which is CITO, which is cash in, trash out. So you go with a bag and you take any rubbish out with you that you find along the way, and that's one way of helping the environment and not being a bit of a louse. It gets you out and about. As I say, I would not have come here, and this has just been a nice, 10-minute walk, like I'm talking to you for a bit more than 10 minutes. Sophie's out with me, she's chatting. Marcus is at home, hopefully making pizza by now, but he's been able to work without having a kid underfoot. She will eventually get to the point where she will be finding the caches quicker than me. Bunny hole, or bunny scrape, just a scrape. Don't know where their holes are. Maybe they're down the bank. I have not been really able to get the stepkids into this. My own kids used to do it with me all the time. I actually hid one that was toilet themed near my house. It was it was a multi, so there was multiple stages that would take you from basically one cul-de-sac loop to another on a trail. Shh. And I did that, and I think the first one was a toilet seat on a tree stump, and the next one was a toilet pull chain, and I think the next one might have been ground zero, and I made it look like it was one of those fake plastic poos that you can get, and it actually turned green. It was really gross, but I camouflaged a piece of pipe and put the log in there with a coin that I created to celebrate, I think, my 100th find. And the whole joke was the Irish bloke, that I have told this on a WiPnChat. The Irish bloke goes for a job, and the employer says, well, we've got to test your maths, and he goes, well, okay, draw me a picture representing 33. And representing 3. So he draws 3 trees. And then he says, well, draw me a picture of something representing 33. So he draws a little smudge at the bottom of each tree, and he goes, 33. And then he the guy is scratching his head going, this guy is either a fucking idiot or a fucking genius. Excuse the French. And he says, okay, here's one. Draw me a picture that represents 100. And he goes and he draws a little blob at the bottom of each tree. And he goes, dirty tree and a third, 33 and a third, and 33 and a third. And it sounds like dirty tree and a turd. As in, dirty tree and a turd. Well, 3 33s and a third give you 100. So, he got the job. Anyway, so that was what the path tag was based on. So it was a little tree with a smudge on it. And then the cache was mine, and people came and found it and had fun doing it and all that kind of jazz. Anywho, so we're back at the car. I'll pack her nibs up and say goodbye on another video. Bye for now. Sunday I actually got to go to my local Stitch and Bitch, or Stitch and Chat. Stitch and Bitch sounds much better even if you're not bitching. To my local stitching meetup with a bunch of women, because there's no guys locally that stitch.
A bunch of bitches then.
Yeah, it was a bunch of bitches. Heifers even. See, I think heifer is even more insulting than bitch. No, I've had this discussion with Marissa, because she is the heifer. She is the crafty heifer. But it's a terrible term. Dear. Yeah. Yeah, so anyway, went down, stitched, and I did, I brought my Harry Potter. What?
You stitched and you bitched.
I stitched. Oh, no, I didn't bitch, actually. I actually stayed reasonably quiet. I felt like I put both feet in it the last time I was there. Just, I don't know. I didn't, but I just felt, you know, I was talking out of turn or something. Maybe it was just that I hadn't seen real people in so long that it was just like, and talking over people. Yeah, no, I don't get out much. And I hadn't got out much at the last one because I'd been at home for 4 months. So all I'd had was husband and kids. So I was probably delirious at that stage for adult company. He reckons he's boring as batshit. Obsessed, more like.
I can only talk about one thing.
Yes, printing.
Not sex.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so I went to that and I stitched. I was going to say, and I knit. No, I didn't knit. I stitched. I did bring my knitting, but I didn't knit. I stitched a howler.
Blasphemy, taking knitting to a stitch along.
I know. I stitched a howler envelope on the bottom of my Harry Potter, and if I remember, which I might not, I'll show you. Otherwise, it'll be in the floss tubes when I do an update. I did make a mistake. I am 1 stitch too narrow. I missed one as I was halfway, and I was like, I'd gone all the way up the right, across the top, miscounted halfway across the top, went down the right, and it was when I figured out that I'd gone wrong, it was just like, I'm not frogging it. Stuff it. So the tongue ribbon is 1 stitch narrower than it should be. I know that it's 1 stitch narrower. It still looks like a howler, so it's fine. End of story. Yeah, so I was really pleased that I had everything, because I didn't think I had 839 with me, and I actually had all of the intro skeins that I needed with me, so I could actually finish it completely, which was really I mean, it was a 3-hour stitch and I was finished at 2.5 hours to do the howler, and it was a really nice to find, you know, just to feel like I had achieved something and not just it's another, you know, envelope half finished, or, you know, it's another 3 envelopes, but because they, you know, haven't got the secondary colour in, they're not quite finished, and the back stitching's not done, and it was just like, no, this actually feels like I have achieved something proper. So that was good. I have put my name down
well, I made the inquiries on the day for going to the stitching retreat, which I have never done. I've never gone to a stitching retreat. Made the inquiries of going along to the stitching retreat in the on the 20th of this month, and said, can I just go as a day on the Saturday? And they went, we haven't thought about it. Yeah, sure. And I said, well, you get me a price and I'll get you a confirmation or not after a talk with hubby, because that's usually the day where we go, you know, for our waterfall walks and stuff. So yeah, got all that sorted and confirmed all of that. So I'm going up for a day to join the girls on a stitching retreat. Now I did hear some people saying that they were, you know, making stuff for other people, and I was like, oh god, I don't know any of this etiquette of making a gift for all of the attendees. I've heard about it from Stitcherista, who goes on her retreats, and I think Michelle Bendy Stitchy may have mentioned gifts that she's either received or made for retreats that she has done. Yeah, so do I need to get thinking of what I can quickly make into needle minders? I don't know. Help. Yeah, so that is in less than 3 weeks. Like, yes, the problem is the magnets. If it's going to be magnetic. I did think of making a scissor fobs. We do have beads and stuff, but I don't know. Yeah, I probably need to get thinking. I have lots and lots of buttons available too. I actually bought buttons with a project in mind with Sophie, and I don't know, life, working mum and everything else got in the way of creativity, and the buttons just got dumped in their big bag wherever the heck they are, that I now need to find. And yeah, I'll think about something maybe to do with those, perhaps. Don't know. Yeah, I think one of the girls is going to be making project bags. I was like, yike. Like, not full-size project bags, but notions, maybe small, maybe A5 kind of size project bags, that you could put either a small project in or have as your accessories, or keep your, yeah, just keep some bits in. So there's that. I can't get to my boxes yet downstairs. Hubby is clearing out the garage. No, he's not actually. He's just moving junk into another spot. But seriously, I've got fabric downstairs that is an offcut of my purple tie-dye that I had turned into a baby sling for my boy when he was a baby. He was a baby. He is now turning 28. So it's that... Is it that old? No, it was the other one. It was the one who's turning 26 this year. No, he's just turned 26. Oh my god.
That sounds like a case of
Too many kids, yes. So yes, the sling is 25 years old. The story with the sling was my sister had given me some material from when she lived in Africa. She was a missionary in Africa with oh, I've forgotten the name now. Anyway, she was a missionary in Africa, in Tanzania, for years, and she bought material, and she brought, I don't know, something like 3 meters of tie-dye purple, speaking of purple, tie-dye purple cotton that the African women would wear. And I had it for years not knowing what the hell am I going to do with this. She went when I was 16, and I still had that piece of fabric, this massive piece of fabric, when I was 23. So I hadn't done anything with this piece of fabric. Happened to see some woman at my local supermarket, which I then ended up working at. Happened to see this woman who was carrying her kid in a sling. She was a little bit kind of hipster. Sorry, not hipster. No. Hippie, not hipster. They're completely opposite. Oh God. Anyway, this hippie chick is carrying her kid in a sling. Now, her kid was possibly the size of Sophie now. She's, you know, not a small baby. She was a big kid on her hip in this African style sling. So it was across the shoulder, and the baby kind of sits on your hip and the rest of the sling is going around. Anyway, I stopped her and I said, "Oh my God, where did you get that?" Now, I'm not normally this bold and brazen and say, "That is amazing, where did you get it from?" But we got chatting and it turns out that she makes the bloody things. So she named her business Soon Three Slings, which is an Irish word for whatever the heck it was. I don't think she's in business anymore, which is a crying shame, but you can get these slings anywhere these days. But because it's made out of cotton, or at least my sling was made out of cotton, and I think hers was too, but because it's made out of cotton, it doesn't give and it doesn't sag and it doesn't stretch or anything like that. If you buy, as I bought with Sophie, a jersey material sling, they stretch, they sag, you can never get the damn things tight enough and you feel like your baby is going to fall out. Well, this sling that was made for me then went through my second boy, my third boy, and my second daughter. My first in that family.
All the kids.
All the kids, yeah, except the eldest.
You could have summarised that.
Yeah.
Quite.
Anyway, so it went through all the kids, and then my eldest, when he started having kids, he was given the sling for his, so he's had his 3 go through it. Now she still has the sling. So, and she also has another baby since, so, you know, I think she's used it with him, but I couldn't get it back when I was having my baby because they weren't talking to me. But anyway, that's a bit of a bone of contention because I really wanted to be able to use it with Sophie, so I ended up getting these other slings that I did use. The slings were amazing. She's big enough now that she's just mobile, so it doesn't matter. But she would still be potentially able to be put into the sling. She wouldn't let you, you know, she wouldn't go in the sling. Now, she's just too independent, which is fine, but she's still of a weight that you could carry her in these slings. They're so well made.
She's quite economical.
Yeah.
Oh, you meant a sling, right?
Hubby called her economical. Right. She's 10 kilos. She's not like a typical 3-year-old that's 20 kilos plus that you're kind of going, there is no way I am going to haul this kid. She's 3 in 10 days, 9 days.
What were you getting for your birthday?
I don't know. I meant to talk to you about that. So,
We're talking about you, not to you.
yeah, so I had this purple tie-dye, and that's what I wanted to use as a project bag material because it's just a scrap. All I need is an A3 size because, you know, that's as big as it is. Now, this lady who's in the group, she actually made her project bag, which I oohed and ahed over, which is how I've been connected with it. Hang on.
What have you got?
She's a quilter, and she used, you know, those selvage edges that you get when you get quilting material fabric, and it's got the name of the artist on it. Well, she cut off these strips and she then pieced them all together like ribbons and made the back, and it looks awesome. And she uses the vinyl to do the front pocket, and it, you know, as I say, it's about an A3 size. It's a brilliant size, and I had said to her, look, would you be able to make something if I can get the fabric to you? And she said, yeah, absolutely. So I've got to find this piece of fabric. Long story short, I've got to find this purple fabric.
Can I tell you a story?
What?
The child just came up and started asking me questions
Yes.
with one hand behind the back. So
Uh-huh.
I grabbed the hand and I said, right, what's this? And she said something and I said, what? And she says, booger. I said, no, go and put it in the rubbish. She says, but it's a booger.
So
Hang on, it gets worse.
she's eaten her booger.
I said, go and put the booger in the rubbish. She's almost put the booger in her mouth. I said, no, in the rubbish. Then I start talking to you, and just as she's just come back now and says, I ate the booger.
She's eaten her booger.
It's a massive thing. How did you have that much, whatever in your nose? Your nose isn't that big. Sorry, I just...
Hijacking the conversation.
Go and tell Mummy.
3608. Alright.
Go and tell Mummy.
Ooh. You had a booger. You ate a booger. I'm glad you're so proud of eating a booger. Oh dear. So where was I? Yes, it's the project bag. So I've got to get this material to Michelle so she can make me a bag. Because buying these bags, it's expensive. I've looked on Etsy. Yeah, but I would get more out of it from going and buying the material that I want, and then giving that material to, say, Michelle, and paying her $25-30 to make it into a bag for me, because I know my machine would have an absolute conniption if I tried to sew multiple layers through this thing, and yeah, I just don't think it's going to happen if I try and do it to the same quality. I'd end up probably with wonkier bags than Cal makes, and that's just me. That's not my machine. Oh dear, it was a $200 machine. Every time I use the damn thing, seriously, I have to get it recalibrated because the tensioning goes off underneath, on top, and everything. And look, I didn't have a handy husband back then. Now I do. Maybe he could fiddle with it, but
I can be bribed.
the problem being that once you fiddle with one side and then you fiddle with the other side, you put everything all out of whack and it just goes and you end up just having a shit fight with the stupid thing. So yeah. And the other thing I need would be a clear dining table. Nudge, nudge.
Oh, as soon as your books get out of my workshop,
Oh, it's all dependent on the books getting out of the workshop.
your books in my workshop.
My books are in his workshop because he hasn't built me the shelves that the books need to go on
I
yet.
can't build the shelves because the books are taking up too much
Oh,
room.
God.
No, that's not true. I've done the vacuum system now.
Yes, now he's got a vacuum system, he might actually be able to put the saw on and make mess and not have it take over everything. Yeah. It's never going to happen.
And
Yes, dear.
and I'm making stuff like for the table saw and stuff. So I can do, I think they're called rip cuts.
Yeah, he's making parts for the saws that he's bought at bargain basement prices from people on buy and sell kind of pages. That he's, yes.
Buy and sell. Owned by eBay.
It's like eBay for home, basically. So yeah, you kind of, I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, you know how people buy and sell. Yeah, they just use this particular app, and he goes on and he goes, I'm not going to pay that. I'll pay half. Works it out. Connives and wangles his way into their hearts, and then goes and buys these tools for next to nothing. So that's his bargain hunting.
$20 for us.
Yeah, he's bought planers for 20 and had me go and collect it, and he's bought a band saw for next to nothing. And we went to the museum as a result of that purchase. Oh, get out. Yeah, so yeah, it was a win for everyone, he reckons. Anyway, yeah, so he's busy stocking up all these tools It was funny. He wanted me to have a look at his drawers today. Not his frilly knickers, but his drawers. And he, so I looked at the drawers and I was, you know, opened the cupboard, one of my old cupboards that I had in my shed that hadn't really got any purpose up until what I thought was now. And he's put all the small tools in there, and it's like, yay, at last, they're actually being used for what it's meant to be used for. It's a tool cupboard that has a lock on it that you can put a key on so you can secure your stuff.
I've been using it for bloody years now. You just haven't noticed.
Because I can't get in there. He has this fascination. He has this fascination of narrowing every little walkway. So I feel like I'm bullying a china shop.
You've insisted on using my ability to create a TARDIS.
Yes, he's created a TARDIS.
And you've exploited it, and now you're dissing it. That's just not on, young lady. I'm telling you that my skill at creating TARDISes, or is that TARDI?
Your point?
Is well, I won't say second to none. Obviously, my grandfather was better at it.
Right.
Oh, his TARDIS was fantastic. This is what he called TARDIS back then.
Right.
Oh,
We are the first to call it a TARDIS then. Okay.
yeah.
His dad just had a bloody big shed, and the previous shed that I had was huge too, but it just didn't have... It had some shelves that I'd put in, but not many. Not enough to make it a working shed. My dad actually had probably more of a working garage in that he had 2 old dining cupboards that he had converted into vice tables and drilled massive holes into, and it was the one that I really liked had grapevines all over it, and I wanted to keep it, and he goes, don't be silly, you don't want to keep that, it's got holes all through it. But it was something that I remembered from my childhood. He didn't quite get that as a thing or as a memory, but that's okay. I don't know where it is now. I don't know if he still has it. And he has a condensed version in his 3x2 shed that's fairly typical for Irish gardens, because Irish gardens are postage stamps. Like, you could probably hit all 4 edges with a swinging cat, you know, as that saying goes. Yeah, tiny. But he still managed to put fruit up against one of the walls and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah. I don't keep in touch with them as much as I should or would like to in a non-opposite world zone. Yeah, but anyway, there's that. So on my way back from this Stitch and Bitch, I decided to go and look to see if there was any local caches. And there was, and when I saw who the creator was, it was like, ah, that's Lee. And so I went hunting down. Well, I actually didn't. I saw where it was, saw that a friend of mine had put it down. Now, I already know a lot of these geocachers, to be honest, because I've done a meet and greet long time ago. I've actually been geocaching since 2009. Sorry?
In a former life.
Yes.
In your former life.
Yeah.
In one of your former, yes. In one of those.
Stop now.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I actually worked with this girl, and had got chatting with her and found out that a couple of my colleagues had also been involved and created some puzzles, and you know, if I ever got stuck then I'd go to them, and you know, that kind of thing. Anyway, it was a lot of fun having people that you see a little bit more often caching with you, kind of thing. So yeah, they have become some really good friends as a result of this stupid, insane hobby. So anyway, this is a city walk that actually starts kind of at the edge of the city. this walk ultimately goes up what's called the rivulet in Hobart, and further along the rivulet is a spot where there's a local platypus that I haven't seen. Now, I didn't do this walk or anything else. The geocache is literally just inside the wall as you walk into the park. It's just over towards the creek, and I didn't have to go any further. Now, stupidly, because again my phone was on hardly any battery because I'd been using it all day, that was struggling too, so I kind of zeroed in on where I was going, then turned the phone off and walked. So I headed to a little bit past where I needed to actually be, and then had to double back when I realised, no, this is not right. This is where the winos go. This is all kinds of crazy. Went back, found the little grove that I needed to be at, and
You know where the winos go.
well, there was a lot of beer bottles on the ground. That's how I know. There was evidence of the beer, wine, whatever, you know, would have been behind the wall where they were hidden. So, found the cache just as I got a phone call from hubby saying, can you collect something for dinner? Did you get my message? And it was kind of like, yeah, I can get something because, you know, again, hadn't taken anything out for the roast on Sunday. It was a nice day, and yep, chicken will be easy to do on the wood barbecue, the $20 cheap barbecue that he bought at one of these bargain basement hookups. And I'm looking for 3. There's 3. Yeah, so went into the supermarket after I got one more cache. So I went up a place called Lena Valley. Lena Valley is on the way over the kind of back road from Hobart to home. You've seen photos of the mountain, just, you know, out the driveway kind of thing. Well, Lena Valley is the road that takes you across the foothill of the mountain rather than down to the highway kind of direction. So you're kind of skirting the back of the suburbs going along this road. So there was one cache there that I was a bit kind of, yeah, let's go check this out. So I get there, and it's this completely weird ass structure. Now, I didn't read it properly. This again was put up by a friend. This is actually, I think I got talking to you a couple of WiPnChats ago about the fact that I got a friend of mine into geocaching and then we got stuck on a puzzle. So we talked to his friend who was a IT guru of some kind. Smarter than the average bear. Now, to say we unleashed a beast was a complete understatement. This dude took it and ran with it, and he puts puzzles down everywhere. He hides them in sneaky places. He has just taken the game and had a ball. And it's so fun to see. So anyway, I went to this cache and looked at the scenery of what was in front of me. And it was basically this stone, pebble stone, river stone, so rounded pebbles. This riverbed that was literally cobblestone kind of affair. And little bits of river was flowing on the surface. Most of it was flowing under. But this cache was put in this place because there are a whole load of iron girders sticking vertically out of the ground with nothing on top. It's not a bridge to somewhere. It could have been a bridge at one point. It's like, what the hell? It doesn't do anything, and it's just there, and they're rusty and everything else. It's quite not really artsy, but it is quite pretty in its own right. It catches a lot of debris as it floods down the mountain, but it's not built to catch the debris, I don't think, or anything else. But anyway, he put the cache in this area. Well, I walked in, and I think I mentioned before as well about when you get to ground zero, you kind of do a bee dance with the GPS, and you're kind of going 1 meter, 4 meters, 3 meters, and you're kind of bumbling around. Well, you actually bumble around 10 meters, and then when you kind of get to within 1 meter, it's kind of like, okay, you're nearly there. Put the phone down and start using your eyes. I couldn't get into that 5 meter or less mark, but I went and I kind of thought, okay, if it was me, where would I put it? I would put it magnetic on the girders. Okay, would I put it high or low? Well, I'd have to put it high because low down it would get washed away. You could see how high the water went. Like the bottom is, say, down here. The water would go to here, and the top of the girders was a little bit further up. So this thing, when it floods, is, you know, huge. Now I was just doing... What was I just... Oh, I'm going to just put it away. Yeah, so... Yeah. I looked and I saw this thing. That's the wrong colour. And I thought, yeah, that's not it. I was just looking at it from one particular angle. And of course, that was it. That was what I was looking for. So I dismissed it the first time and then went fossicking around and again doing this GPS dance around the area. A couple of walkers go past with their dogs, and all that kind of thing, and I'm feeling like a bit of an idiot, and time is ticking now, and I'm getting impatient, and I just want to, you know, get the damn thing found. Look up the previous logs, because of course he hasn't left any notes or clues or anything else. He doesn't. He's difficult like this. So he didn't have that it was magnetic or... Oh, jeez. Anyway, I go back and then I suddenly get into ground zero and I start looking around, and it's only because I'm at the correct angle do I see that it's actually a log. And it was just like, you son of a bitch. But I found it. Yeah. And I left a message for my two friends saying, I found it. Because you don't just do the search on the ground. You actually leave messages afterwards for the cache owner, which is so much fun because when you've put the effort into hiding a geocache and you've made it so that it's tricky and all that kind of thing, it's a lot of fun having somebody praise you and say, thank you so much for that cache. It was so much fun to do, or whatever. Yeah, and it was just, yeah, it's a lot of fun. So yeah, I did those two. Now my problem now is that I've done lots and lots of caches in the area. I am considering taking out the premium membership again because it's cheap and it gives you access to puzzles and that kind of thing, and it's just something else to do. It lets you go for a walk in an area that you might not otherwise walk in, learning about why the structure might be even there, because that's the wrong color. You know, why would you go there? So say for instance you're from another town, you want to visit the area and you're kind of going, okay, I want to see something. Well, there is no way in hell you as a tourist in a strange town is going to know that this thing is there. No way, no how. It's not going to be on any map. Nobody is going to tell you about this. Geocaching? Aha. There are little gold mines. Like I've said before, I found the Berlin Wall, a piece of the Berlin Wall in New York City. You telling me that you could go to a map of New York City and tell me where that piece of Berlin Wall is? Go for it. But to have a local geocacher put this geocache on something like that is just, it's awesome. It's such a good way of finding your local area out and seeing something that you've never seen, and yeah, just going for a walk and having a prize at the end of it, whether it's, you know, a stupid little film canister or a micro that's even smaller, or a great big container in the middle of the bush because you've got a GPS that actually takes you to that place. You know, doesn't matter. It's just fun. It's satisfying, and the kids had fun doing it. And there are bigger caches in the more remoter areas where you can put toys in and stuff. So you'll get some people who will put in what's called a trackable. So they could effectively put in something like this little hippo, attach a keyring kind of thing to him, or a trackable track. So they get a kind of tracker bug. So you buy these bugs for, I don't know, $5, $10 or something. There's a particular code on them, and that code then sends it worldwide. I've actually put 2 into the wild, and both of them disappeared. So that's a little bit disappointing. So you do kind of set them free with a little bit of trepidation. So yeah, you don't put something that you really care about. But people have put, you know, this is what I want this bug to do. I think one of them was an Ugg boot that I wanted to travel, and I think it went missing in its 2nd place, which was really frustrating. But I wanted the Ugg boot to travel around the world. And the other one was, I don't know, a pen with a kind of this kind of crap on it, you know, feathers and a duvalaki, and I don't know, it probably wasn't to do anything in particular, but you can only put them into certain sizes. There's actually a cache down in a place called Salamanca, and it's a waypoint for going to Antarctica. So if you want your cache, for instance, to go to all 7 continents of the world, you know, this is one place that you could get that to happen. So we've got people who will take the caches down, touch them down in Antarctica, and then somebody else will take them out. Yeah, because Hobart is the gateway to Antarctica, or South America would be the other one. So yeah, it's just really, really cool. And of course you get then the people picking them up and dropping them off will tell their stories too, like, you know, oh, I'm from so-and-so and I'm traveling to here and I'm taking this, you know, with me. Or what they'll do is they might be traveling around and they'll go, oh, I've picked up a bug in Hobart. And then they're traveling the east coast of Australia. And instead of just going to Melbourne and leaving it there, they'll actually take it with them on their trip and take pictures of what they see and everything else, and they're sending this back to their owner. So it's really, really cool. It's similar, I suppose, to these kind of things. These, you know, rocks. People will put pretty rocks into the neighborhoods for people to find. It's similar to that kind of thing. Munzie might be another thing that you might have heard of. Munzie is a bit different. It's a QR code on a sticker. It's a lot less fun and personable. Oh, these ABs are being a bit rude. Yeah, Munzie is, I didn't find Munzie as good or as interactive or anything like that as geocaching. Similar kind of concept, but looking for a sticker is boring. I did find a couple, but yeah, it was just like, no. There's certain rules with geocaching. Like, one of the first ones that I actually went for was actually just down the road from where I'm living now. And I went out there on the first time and I could not find this thing. Well, it turned out that you had to pull the cap off the fence and the cache was dangling down from underneath the cap. The city ones are often the best hidden, so somebody might fake an electrical outlet or a bolt or some kind of appliance kind of thing that might be stuck on the wall, that would ordinarily be stuck on the wall. So they'll give you a hint, and you know, there might be something on it that just glares at a geocacher. I'm a geocache, whereas everyone else walking past would just kind of go, oh, it's just a hydrant or whatever, you know, that kind of thing. But yeah, it gets you into the back alleys and other places. Yeah, the dangerous situations, no, hopefully not. You know, but you know, in Melbourne it would maybe take you down the graffiti alley that you might not walk down otherwise, because you know there's alleys in Melbourne. Oh, these ABs are really sticky. There's alleys in Melbourne, so you've got laneways that go straight down, and then there's these little cloisters off them that some of the kids will be allowed to repeatedly graffiti in these graffiti lanes, and they actually have artists who come in and teach the kids how to graffiti in a safe environment and all that kind of thing. So it's kind of expressing their artwork rather than limiting it, and it gives them somewhere safe to be able to do it and all of that kind of stuff. So you know, it would just take you to these out of way places, and it's all kinds of cool. And because it's a local, they've generally done a bit of research and kind of, you know, they'll know if it's pet friendly or child friendly or, you know, whatever history there might be behind it. So if you're from out of town, it's a great way of learning about the place. I struggled when I was in Canberra doing it because I had the motorbike. It's a little daunting, and of course if you're trying to find a geocache in motorbike gear, it's just, you know, all kinds of weird and uncomfortable. But I did do some, and then I found some in well, I looked for some in Central Park. I didn't find any. I might have found one in Central Park with my youngest boy. We did go looking for one around the Alice in Wonderland statue. Couldn't find it, and we went looking for another one. It was in the snow, so it was probably not surprising that we didn't find it. But there was another one that we were looking for, and there was somebody had put a label or something under the skirt of Alice. It might be, or it might be I don't know. There's a skirt statue, some animal or person, I can't recall. And under the skirts was this thing saying, "This is not what you're looking for," kind of thing. And it was like, what? This is really weird. So yeah, bemused by that one. But we had such a fun afternoon getting wet and playing, and it was just him and I. He was 10, 11, just about to turn 11. And it was just a fun afternoon of getting absolutely soaking wet, freezing cold, and laughing. So yeah, you know, it was a fun memory from my time in New York when it was otherwise pretty crap. You know, and I got a geocache, I think, in every capital city that we travelled to. So we got one in London. I got one around the corner from where... oh, maybe not. Maybe it was one of the circuses. The circus is what they call the kind of semicircle things. And we were down around the theatre section. Don't think it was the West End. But there was the Lion King on, and the tickets were just going to be too expensive. And I think I ended up going to an urban thing that was, I don't know, like I think it was like a fire hydrant kind of thing tucked against the wall, and you're in a crowd of people. It was, and you're trying to snatch this without, you know, alerting lots of people that you're after something that's hidden there. But there was it felt very Harry Potter-ish, you know, near the train station, kind of, I don't know, I'm not explaining it very well, but very London town kind of stuff. But yeah, found a geocache there, found a geocache in Paris, found a geocache in New York. That was all I wanted to do, was find a cache in every city. That was my goal of that trip. And I think did that. That's, like I said, where I found the piece of the Berlin Wall. Because I went geocaching, and I was looking for difficulty and all of that kind of thing. So trying to make it so that it wasn't too crazy hard to find, and all of that. Oops, missed 2. No, I didn't drop. I missed 2. I did. I did miss 2. I don't know what it is about her in the last week. It seems she's got a lot more interactive. Not that she wasn't interactive before, but she... her conversation is just bizarre. It's just more and more of her personality coming out. It's all kinds of cool. And today when I got home from... Well, no, yesterday when I got home from work, I sat down with... No, I sat down on the couch where I normally sit. She sits kind of to my left. And she was watching Mr. Maker or something. It's a kind of arty kind of program where this dude makes stuff out of rubbish. And I was just wondering what he was doing. So I turned the iPad around and she's sitting it then inside the chair arm. So she's on the couch right next to me. I just snuggled up and, she was watching her program and I was watching it, kind of on the side, and I was stitching while she was doing that. So, oh yeah, the drop for the Nerdy Cross-Stitch Appreciation Society dropped, and the R is Mario. Not my thing, but I wasn't going to not do it. I've never played Mario, really. But, yeah, so today when I got home from work, I wanted to get stuck in with recording the WiPnChat for you guys and getting it up and all of that stuff. And she goes, Mommy, come and sit with me, So I was like, okay, I'll come sit with you. So I had a cup of tea with her, and she, again, turned the iPad around. I did some knitting next to her. But again, it was just that whole kind of interaction of, sitting with and not going, no, I'm too busy for you, or anything like that. It was cool. It was really nice. And yesterday when I came home, was it yesterday? No, it was Sunday. Must have been Sunday. I came home and she was in the bath. And she hasn't, well, not that she hasn't had a bath for ages, but she isn't always a kid that is in the bath. And this time she was in the bath and she was lying down on her tummy in the water, not a care in the world, slopping around. Whereas the last time she was in the bath, she was a bit more kind of, I don't know, water play orientated or something. So it was really cool seeing how comfortable she was, lying in the water and stuff and that. And I kind of thought, oh yeah, we really should, look at bringing her swimming or something. At some point, and seeing how she goes in a big bath, yes, that would be huge to her. Like, a swimming pool is not an insignificant splash of water like a bath. Yeah, and we're lucky because, we haven't got the COVID restrictions that they're shut or anything at the moment. So that's nice. Yeah. So, I will have inserted videos, maybe with music alongside them. We had the birds down at the river walk. We had the geocaching, and I explain as I'm going with those what I'm doing. So I might put some music to some of it when it's quiet, because I wasn't always chatting on the river walk. But there's other bits where I do kind of explain in bits, so you might get sound up, sound down with music. and that kind of thing as they go. Not many pictures to show you, it was more just the video. And oh yes, we have swans. There are black swans on this river that some dude kept on saying, oh, there's swans, there's swans. And I'm kind of thinking, I've never seen swans down here. Well, lo and behold, was it 3 or 4 swans? 3 swans rock up. And these are big black beauties.
So they're big.
Yeah, they're swans. They're not small birds. And the bread that we had was terrible, so it was like, you know, dry rock. Basically, it was freezer burnt or whatever, and yeah, it was pretty terrible. So I was getting as small a bit as I could break off and holding it in my hand, and the swan would actually take it out of my hand. It was really cool. So I've got that on video as well. So yes, you will have hopefully enjoyed seeing those. And then there's a couple of baby ducks and geese and...
I don't think black swans would be something that
No, I don't know if...
non-Australians would know about.
I don't know if black swans live anywhere else really. In the UK they're white.
No, I'm pretty sure it's Australian.
But in the UK they're white and they are all owned by the Queen. Every single white swan, they are ringed every year and she is the owner. Black swans are, I suppose, the feral cousin. And they have a white on their wing, so I think I might have caught this on camera. One of them is preening and you can see the white wings tucked in, and when they fly they have white visible tips along the flight feathers. So when they're tucked up and they're floating on the water, they just look black. It's only when they are outstretched and flying that you actually see the white. So all kinds of cool. They're local to us, just up the river here, near where there's a very flat bit of water, up near Bridgewater. And they're always up there, so seeing them in this town on the river was like, oh, this is a bit different. There's always geese and ducks, or all ducks maybe. Geese don't paddle on water, do they? Anyway, lots of varieties of ducks and moorhens on the water. As I said, a couple of babies. There was a black baby and a yellow baby, so pretty new having them that downy baby duck colouring. Not sure if they're mallards. They are brown ducks, but I'm not sure if they're actually mallards. I don't think they are actually mallards. I think they're just, I don't know, some generic brown thing. I need a 9, which is 3607. Yep. So, yeah, no, I just haven't looked up what variety of duck they are. I do have a bird book that I could check. And if I find out before I do my editing, I'll put it in down the bottom of the screen. Yes, that was kind of cool. On the other side of the bridge, which we didn't go to, is actually a gentle slope. It turned out that a friend of mine was there with her kids, and they went rolling down the hill as you have kids do. And they were there the exact same day, and then I bumped into another friend who was in the town with the kids. I think she had a car full of kids that they went out to Richmond with, because one of them is moving to the mainland. So yeah, kind of nice to see friends when you're out and about, or see that your friend was there at the same time. But yeah, it's a nice little town, Richmond. Alright, I am done, and I've talked to you for ages, and you're going to have all sorts of extensions with all those other videos. So I hope you've enjoyed the video. Now, I should have my Thursday video done in time. I will have my unboxing of a DAC item. Now, if you have got this far, the box that I put in on my page that said Zarby Dragons, that is actually thanks, well, not solely thanks to, but I got two or three, I think it was 2 from Secret Santa, and one from one of my creators who gave me a gift of a gift card for Diamond Art Club. And those gift cards were then stacked, as I say in the checkout, and the discount code also added, and I was able to purchase the dragons. So, you know, they're Christmas presents or New Year presents. So, you know, thank you very much for those. And the only reason that they're not being opened as quickly, and I will say it when I actually go to open them, the only reason I'm not opening them at the moment is because they're not in stock, and I'm waiting for stock to come in, which at this stage the restocking is the 1st of April, so I don't know. I'll see. I'll think about it. I don't like delaying it all that, you know, that length of time, but I'd rather kind of keep, you know, current discount codes with stock that's actually up. Does that make sense? So that you guys benefit, and, you know, the links work, and you get to see what's in everything. And today, if you've been watching my unboxing recently, I had an unboxing of Once Upon a Dark Night, and there was some errors with the drills. There were squares and rounds in together, and one lot of those have been received. And then I had a subscriber tell me, thank goodness for this person, I had a subscriber tell me that my blacks weren't all there. I only had 2 bags of black, and it turns out that you need 9 apparently. So I've messaged DAC again. I said, it looks like I'm 7 bags short. Can you help me? I'm so sorry. I didn't realize this when I was unbagging. And they said, yeah, and they've sent it, so I'll potentially get that by the end of the week, because it was literally 2 days later from saying, your squares and rounds are half and half. So 1 lot's in, waiting on the 2nd. So yeah, there's that. Yeah, I will see you around. I hope you have enjoyed this WiPnChat. I know it's a little bit all over the place, but hey, it's me. So yeah, I will see you around on the tubes. Please like, subscribe, and ring the bell for notifications if you want to hear more randomness and hear more about my geocaching adventures or more about my waterfall adventures. There are playlists for the WiPnChat at the end of the video if you want to check them out, and you can binge watch. There is actually a waterfall playlist that has the touristy kind of videos in it, or photographs in it, and I'm talking about the photos, and you can check those out as well, so you can get to see a little bit of Tasmania as we go. And yeah, we're just showing you our island and backyard, so hope you enjoy those too. Alright, take care, and I will talk to you soon. Bye for now. May the road rise up to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face, and the rain fall soft upon your fields. And until we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of his hand.